Hello everybody and welcome to a different type of video. I think this is the first time showing my face in the entirety of a video. I'm currently in my apartment in the city, so if I record like this, I'll be able to edit this a lot faster. But we are going to be ranking the subgenres of horror on a tier list. That is right, we have stooped to tier list content. Iceberg might be next, so look out for that. I have some of the most popular subgenres loaded up over here on the right. I will give you my ranking and I will tell you some movies that are in that subgenre. This video might piss you off, you might enjoy it. We're just gonna see and find out. But before that, let's talk about your internet safety. Have you guys ever searched for something online and then suddenly every ad you see is about that exact thing? Yeah, it's kind of creepy. That's when I realized I needed Surfshark VPN in my life. With Surfshark, you can change your virtual location instantly. That means access to blocked websites, global content, and better privacy, all from wherever you are in the world. Public Wi-Fi? Super convenient, but also a hacker's paradise. Surfshark encrypts your data, so your personal information stays protected no matter where you're browsing. And for real, if you're tired of content being locked in certain countries, Surfshark unlocks shows and sites globally. It's like giving your internet a passport. One account works across unlimited devices, so everything you own is covered. I have Surfshark on my phone, my laptop, my TV, and even on my iPad. If this all sounds dandy to you, go to surfshark.com/Zeark and use code Zeark at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark for free. That's right, you heard me, for free. Plus, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's zero risk in trying it. Honestly, I can't imagine browsing without it anymore. So once again, go to surfshark.com/Zeark or use code Zeark or click the link in the description below. And at checkout, you get 4 extra months of Surfshark for free. What are you waiting for? Protect your internet, and yeah, let's get back to the video. And no, this is not a hostage situation. This is just my little setup for now. I move out in literally like a week, so you're never gonna see this again. All right, so the first subgenre on this tier list is psychological horror. If you ask me where I would put psychological horror about a year or two ago, I'd probably stick it in the B to A category. But man, as I get older, these psychological horror films, they're hitting like a truck. You have The Shining, Black Swan, Hereditary, my favorite horror movie of all time. Just because of how much it gets under my skin now, and I look forward to watching psychological horror films, I'm putting this in S. It truly doesn't get any better than psychological for me at this point in my life. And I recently just discovered one of my favorite psychological horror films, which is Session 9. I talked about that in a previous video. And man, I just love psychological horror. I can't get enough. Now, next up, this one might be a little bit controversial. We're gonna be talking about the subgenre of supernatural horror. And here's my problem with it. In the early to maybe early mid 2000s, in the 1970s, the 1980s, supernatural horror films were fucking awesome, dude. You had The Exorcist in 1973. You had Poltergeist, that cursed film, in 1982. You had The Ring. You had Ringu. Is that how you pronounce it? And you had The Conjuring in 2013. And honestly, I think The Conjuring is the reason supernatural films kind of suck these days. I think it's a bit overdone now, super dramatic. And over the years, I've kind of lost interest in supernatural films because I don't really believe in ghosts as much as I did when I was a child. For instance, we have The Nun 2. Is there a third one yet? Probably. And I feel like everyone is just recycling the same supernatural horror film these days. It's the same premise, it's the same jump scare, it's always cheap. I think the last one that did it well that I could remember off the top of my head was Talk to Me, and it was a while before I've seen a good supernatural horror film before that. But because it's so iconic and because there's so much potential in the future for this genre, I'm sticking it in B. I'm catering towards like an A-, B+ for supernatural horror, but if it gets better throughout the years, it's definitely gonna go up a spot for sure. Now, next up, we have the slasher film, arguably, spoiler alert, my favorite subgenre of all time period. I grew up on films like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Scream. They're all reasons that I love horror films. Without those, I don't even know if I would be talking to a camera as my job right now. It's given us some of the most iconic characters in horror ever, like that little dude from Trick or Treat. I don't know if you guys have seen that film. Very underrated. You should check that out. We have Chucky from Child's Play, Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers. Dude, horror mascots, horror icons. These movies can be so fun, they can be so stupid, but no matter what, for instance, I just watched the movie Hard Eyes. I genuinely really enjoyed it because it was stupid and it was a slasher. It had a mascot to it. Yeah, man, slashers, dude, S tier, top tier, doesn't get better than that. I don't know if I'm being biased here. I'm reading some of the subgenres and these are all like A or S tier. Monster horror / feature creature feature. Is that? You have movies like Alien, Jaws, The Thing, dude. dude. I don't know if Cloverfield counts as a creature feature, but that movie was pretty awesome. But I kind of consider that more of a found footage, but it's on this list. So Thing alone, just with the practical effects, the monsters, same with Aliens, same with Jaws. I sound like a broken record, but I'm putting it in S. I'm sorry. I just love it. I love creature films. We don't really see a ton of these anymore. I can't really remember a movie like Jaws. I don't think The Meg counts. It's kind of dog shit. I don't think I've seen a movie like The Thing in a while. I guess the closest I could bring up is maybe The Descent. I think that's considered a creature feature. But yeah, man, The Thing just puts this tier in S tier. And there's so much potential with this. You can make so many universes. You can make so many worlds. Yeah, I love monster horror. It's great stuff. What was that one movie with the monsters living under the bed? I don't know if you guys remember that. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I would watch that every day on demand. It was free. It was that and this movie named Crybaby with Johnny Depp. I would just watch those on repeat. All right, let's move on to the next tier. Next up, we have found footage, and this is where things might get a little bit iffy. In found footage, you have films like The Blair Witch, which I would say, wait, did I just say witch? I would say really made found footage a popular way to make horror films on a budget. Blair Witch definitely paved the way for that. Because of Blair Witch, we have movies like Paranormal Activity, we have movies like Wreck, Cloverfield, which I mentioned earlier, and one of the scariest films I've ever seen, Lake Mungo. But man, some found footage horror movies are complete fucking dog shit. Whether it's the 1,000 Paranormal Activity movies that got worse every single release, or that dog shit attempt at a PSA that was really there to scar people and get people to talk about it, Megan is Missing. This subgenre can be done really well with a creative director, someone with ambition, but just like the title says, it's found footage. You could give a dumbass a camera like the one I'm using here, and I can go shoot a found footage movie for free, or like 20,000 bucks if I want to somehow make it look decent. And I think that's the problem. It's a great tool. It's awesome that this can be used for people who want to make a small budget film, but sometimes you get the big head corporate companies making found footage films that are cheesy, over the top, stupid looking. I'm gonna put this in B though. I don't think this genre will ever die. I think it really mixed things up when Blair Witch came out, but it is running its course a little bit. But when a found footage comes out and it's good, I'm surprised and I like it. So yeah, we're gonna stick that into the B category. Next up is body horror. Bro, I love body horror. Immediately, I'm putting body horror at A, only because sometimes you can get to a point where it's grotesque to be grotesque, and I'm kind of just cringing a little bit. Like Human Centipede, they're just doing it to do it. They're doing it to freak people the hell out, and it gets to a point where I'm like, bro, like this isn't even enjoyable anymore. One of my favorite body horror movies that I've seen recently is probably The Substance, dude. The body horror and the practical effects in that film are awesome. Genuinely some of the best I've ever seen. But yeah, there's not much to say about body horror. It's essentially just disgusting to get under your skin, but it does have the potential to be pretty freaking awesome. I would say The Thing is also kind of body horror as well. So yeah, that's why I put it in that slot. Next up is sci-fi horror. These are movies that are usually using like aliens, something's going on in space. Think about that one Friday the 13th movie where he like Cairo freezed? What is this saying? He freezed that dude and like cracked his head on the table and it shot. That shit was sick. That's sci-fi horror. The two movies that come to my head when I think about sci-fi horror is the Alien franchise. And there's this movie from 2009. I don't know if you guys remember it. I think it was kind of big when it came out. It was called Splice. That movie was fucked up. Overall, I'm not a huge fan of sci-fi. I don't really read sci-fi that much. If I have a choice between like grounded in reality fiction over sci-fi, I'm always going to choose the grounded one. I'm probably going to put this in like a low B just because Alien is so freaking awesome, dude. Survival horror, kind of like the video games. You have movies like The Descent, 28 Days Later. You have The Mist, which is a great film. You guys actually should watch that if you haven't. Don't look anything up about The Mist, just watch it. We have The Road. We have a recent one, A Quiet Place. And yeah, you know, this subgenre is pretty solid. Most of the time, survival horror takes place in like a dystopian universe where things have gone wrong. There's like a monster on the loose, and they're just people surviving, trying their best. And I love survival games. I love DayZ. I like The Last of Us, even though it's not really a survival game. I'm playing Rust some nights and I'm getting raided by 13-year-old kids calling me slurs. I love survival. I'm gonna stick this category in A tier. And last but not least, I'm sorry, I probably didn't cover all the subgenres in this video. I definitely didn't. We have horror comedy. Now, this one, like I said, it might stir up the pot a little bit. Horror comedy, when it's done good, it's great. When it doesn't land, dude, it falls flat on its face. You have movies like Shaun of the Dead, which I really enjoyed. You have Cabin in the Woods, which I would say kind of leans more into the serious side, but it does have comedy elements. I would say that The Cabin in the Woods is probably my favorite horror comedy. You have movies like Evil Dead 2 that also did it pretty well. And I don't know, I just have a hard time mixing horror with comedy. In my head, I'm there for a horror film. Sorry if you guys can hear the birds. They live outside. Yeah, no shit, they live outside. I mean, they live outside my apartment. But yeah, horror and comedy in my brain just doesn't mix very well. I feel like a lot of movies advertise their film to be strictly horror, and then when you get there, it's not very scary at all, and it's really just a comedy, and that kind of can get disappointing. But horror comedy is getting put in C for comedy. C for comedy. I have another one here. I don't really know where to stick this, but I'm gonna just stick it in. Pause. It is Asian horror. This is going S tier. There is honestly nothing better than Asian horror in my opinion. All of the scariest horror films I've ever seen have been Asian horror films. This one was a quick little addition. It wasn't on the list, but yeah, Asian horror, dude, it's absolutely top tier. They just understand how to get under people's skin without screaming in your face or making loud noises. They really know what they're doing over there. Good for them. There's a category I'm just gonna throw in here because it's probably my least favorite. It's called splatter horror, or how do I say this without getting demonetized? Torture corn. You guys love corn, whisking corn and eating corn, right guys? A lot of it is pretty exploitive, not scary, and just generally very stupid. Like a Serbian film, stupid film. Human Centipede. I'm gonna make my own movie. Human Centipede. I don't know why I said that. Human Centipede, stupid. Hostel, maybe it's got a little bit of fun in there, but not really. I think the only ones that really get away with it are the Saw films, because for some reason I was addicted to them as a kid. I would watch all of them. I would learn the lore. But Saw is more of a soap opera, dude. It's not even a horror film at some points. I think some of them can get it right, but most of them get it completely wrong, and they're just trying to gross out the audience, and I don't really have fun with that. So I'm gonna put that in D tier. Not necessarily F, definitely not C. I'm just gonna put it in the D. So yeah, that's my subgenre ranking list. If you guys disagree, please let me know in the comments. I'm sorry if I offended you. It's just my opinions, okay? Let's chill out. Yeah, once again, thank you Surfshark for sponsoring the video and keeping this roof over my head, and thank you guys as well. Without you, there is no Surfshark. There is no me sitting here making these funky little videos. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. I gotta get to editing. It's been about 2 weeks since my last upload. All right, well, goodbye.